Hello and welcome to day 17 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm releasing a new Cricut craft every day for the whole of October. Yesterday we made wrappers to go around some Halloween cupcakes, and today we are taking our spooky treats one step further with cupcake toppers. So I will show you how to design your very own cupcake toppers in Design Space, and then we will cut them out and stick them together and then put them into our little cakes for the ultimate Halloween food experience. Let's get started. I'm going to make two different types of cake topper. The first is where all the images are contained in an outer shape, so I'm going to use a circle, and the second one is a more free-form kind of cupcake topper. So let's start with the circle. Go into shapes and choose a circle. I want to duplicate, so I've got an exact copy of this, so right click and then duplicate. I want to put one directly on top of the other, so select both layers by dragging a box around them, go into Align and then Center. With the top one, I'm going to right click and duplicate and then change the colour of the duplicated one to white, make it a bit smaller so that I'll have a border of the colour around the edge, and again select everything and go into Align and Center. In the Layers panel, I'm going to choose the white circle and then press Ctrl on my keyboard and choose the next circle down, so the grey one, and then go down to the bottom and press Slice. This will have cut the middle out of that second grey circle, so if I just delete those first two slice results, you can see I'm now left with my base, which is going to be a solid colour, and then this, which is what I'm going to put the decorations in. So you don't need to have a solid colour behind it. I will show you when I make them how it looks with or without. But sometimes you just might want to have a two-layered cake topper with a nice colour behind it. Alright, so now I have this, I can start looking at what images to put in. So let's have a little search for Halloween and see what we've got. There are some in here that would actually work as cake toppers all by themselves. So these ones in a circle. You wouldn't actually need to design anything for them. They would just cut out nicely as they are. Right, let's have a little look through. And I haven't seen all of these little quotes before. They're cute. Not very suitable for a cake topper. Although I do like that ghost. I might use that. Okay, let's have a look and see what is suitable. So for cake toppers, you want to choose images that is all one layer, so all one colour, and images that are quite simple. So I'm just having a look through and I will find some and then insert them into my design. I quite like that face. You also want ones where all the bits are touching, so this witch's hat wouldn't work very well because the middle of the hat doesn't touch anything else. So when you try and cut it out, it will all fall apart and won't stay together as one cake topper. So I've chosen a bunch of images to play with. I'm going to start with this ghost. So at the moment, this is too many colours and all I actually want is this ghost. I don't want all of the words around the edge because like I said, you can't have bits that aren't touching anything else. So with this selected, I am going to just have a look in the layers and I can see this is 3 layers at the moment. So if I ungroup it, I can then delete the green and the purple layers and now I've just got this one. I need to get rid of the words boo. So with the layer selected, go down into contour in the bottom of the screen and then just click into all of these letter parts to remove them. There we go. So now that's hidden the word boo and I've just got the ghost left. I'm going to make my circle that we made earlier black because I find it easier to work with these when everything's black as it gets rid of the borderline around the edge. So let's make the little ghost black as well, and then I can position it over the circle. So it's up to you if you decide to have your image perfectly fitting in the circle, or it can overlap a little bit on the outside like this. So for this one, if I was going to put it over a coloured circle, so let's say this one, if it was purple, I was going to make a 2-layer cake topper. That would work really nicely because the ghost is going to stick to that back layer. However, if I didn't want a back layer, so if I wanted this to be see-through around the ghost, this isn't going to work that well, because when you stick the wooden skewer in it, you'll see the skewer poking out the bottom of the ghost. So it would be better in this case to move the ghost down, and then the skewer will be hidden behind her. When you're adding the images, you want to make sure you've got a good amount touching this outer frame so it's not going to fall apart. So this ghost, I think she would look better, it would work better if she was made a bit bigger, so that the head and the bottom and her arm are all touching this outer line of the circle. So I think that is quite cute as it is. Oops, didn't mean to select that one. Just those two. I think I'm happy with that, and that will be my first cake topper. So let's have a little try at another one. So duplicate the circle and bring in this mask. So here we go. I'm going to drag the mask to the top so I can move it easier. Now this one, I've decided I don't want the little horns poking outside. I want to crop them. So what I'm going to do is duplicate my coloured circle and then drag that below the other two layers, and then select the circle layers, the two circle layers, and go into align and center just to make sure they're perfectly lined up. And then I can choose the purple circle, press Control on my keyboard and select the mask picture and press slice. This will have cut them out, so the one I want to keep is this top slice result, and all these purple ones I can just delete. So now I'm left with the mask, and I've cut away all of the bits that were poking outside of the circle. I need to join the mask to the circle so that it'll cut out and won't all fall apart, because at the moment if you tried to cut this, so let's make it, you can see it's splitting it apart from that circle. So select both those layers, go down to the bottom and press weld. I'm going to do the same with the ghost and the circle outside from there, so weld those together too. Alright, so now my mask is all connected, but when I zoom in, you can see I've got all these teeny tiny little gaps around the top and the bottom, and my Cricut machine would really struggle to cut those out. So I'm going to go into contour and then zoom out a tad. Just click all of the teeny tiny little pieces to hide them, and that way your Cricut machine won't struggle cutting these out. There we are, that's much better. So this one I think I will make as a transparent one without anything in the background. So we have two different types of cake topper ready to go. The next type of cake topper I will do is one that doesn't sit within a circle shape. So these ones are more freehand. So I've got the cat here. And you can do it just with one image. You could just cut this out and stick your skewer to it and that would be fine. Or you can join images together to create something new. So let's have a little play and see. I'm not sure these are really the most suitable images to be using, but let's see. I think it needs something else. So let's go into images. I'm going to choose a bat and I think a pumpkin. So there's a bat and then a nice simple pumpkin. Just an outline, that'll do. So when you're doing cake toppers that are this more freeform thing, you need to try and make them even on each side so that it will stand up straight and won't go off to one side, which is why I'm adding this pumpkin in. And also then I've got a nice amount along the bottom to stick my skewer into when I put it together. And then just add a little bat. And you need to make sure that everything's touching so that it's not going to fall apart when you try and cut it out. So I think one bat there, and then another one attached to the cat. They would be better if they were touching so that there's more I can't get that one to look right. Let's go for that. Okay, so when you've assembled the images together, again, we need to weld all of this. So select all of the images in your freeform cake topper, go down to the bottom of your layers and press weld. And that's joined them all together. This one I am going to leave for now. I think it's a little bit small really to be used as a cupcake topper because these cut lines will be tiny, tiny, tiny. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm left with my 3 different designs. So the first one was done in a circle frame with a coloured background and the ghost pokes over the edge. The second one was done in a circle frame but without that coloured background, and we sliced off everything that was outside of the circle. And the third one is a more free-form cake topper design. When I'm making cake toppers, I like to make them double-sided so that when you look at the front or the back of the cake, you can still see the pattern. You don't just get the ugly back of card that you might get if it was just one-sided. So to make it double-sided, we need to duplicate all of these and then flip them round. First, I'm going to resize them. So at the minute, they are probably the wrong size because I didn't resize them at the beginning. So I'm just going to group the purple and the ghost layers together so that they'll resize together. And let's have a little think about how big I want to make this. It's just over 3 inches at the minute, and for a cupcake that's probably a little bit big. I think maybe 2 inches would be more appropriate, so let's go for 2. If you're putting this in a big cake rather than just a cupcake, then you can obviously make it bigger. But for a cupcake, I don't want it to get too big and overpower the cupcake itself, so let's go 2 inches. This one, again, 2 inches wide, and then that'll make it a bit taller. Might even go 2.5. I can't decide. Let's compromise. 2.25. Alright, so for this monster, I'm actually just going to contour out a few more of these details now that I've seen how small it's going to be. There, so I've just taken out a few more bits in the top. Alright, where were we? Duplicating. Got a bit distracted. So let's select everything and then in the top of the layers panel, press group. And now all you need to do is right click on the group and press duplicate. And then once you've got your copy, go into flip horizontal. And that's going to create a mirror image of all of our cake toppers, which means when we cut them out, we can stick them back to create that double-sided topper effect. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out from cardstock, and then I'll show you how to stick them together and put them into your funky little Halloween cupcakes. So here are my cake toppers cut out, and after all that deliberating over size, I've still kind of managed to cut them too small. So I think actually when you're making them 3 inches would be a better size rather than 2. I still think they're going to work and they're going to look nice. They are just a little bit smaller than they could be. Alright, so I need to stick these together, and I'm going to start with the ghosts. So these are the ones that we cut with the coloured background in the middle. I'm going to add a little bit of depth to these with some 3D foam pads. So I'm going to turn the ghost over and add some 3D foam to the back, making sure I don't go over any of the gaps, otherwise you'll see the foam through the gaps. This is small, as I said, so it doesn't need an awful lot of foam, but I want to get a good stick on it. So I've got 4 little pieces, and then I'm just going to stick it to the purple circle. And that gives a really pretty 3D effect. I need to do the same on the other one. So I'm just going to check I've got that ghost around the right way, which I do, so I can turn it upside down. You might be able to see my paper tore a bit on the back when I was trying to get the eyelash bits out. So again, just a little bit of foam on here. And then I can peel the tops off to release all of the sticky and attach it to the other purple circle. Okay, so now I need to stick these back to back. Make sure I line up the little ghost tail. I'm going to put a cocktail stick in the middle, which is how I will put this into the cupcake. So there are a couple of ways you can do it. You can either sellotape this to the back and then glue it and stick it together, or use double-sided tape, or you can sellotape your glue stick on and then use 3D foam pads to add a bit of depth between the layers, or you can use a glue gun. And a glue gun tends to be the most secure way of doing it in terms of that stick not coming out. So my glue gun is over here heating up. I'm not sure it's quite hot enough yet, but let's give it a go. So I'm going to make sure my ghost is round the right way, and then put my skewer in. So I'll just hold that down, and actually I need to put the glue on first. Oh, that's not hot enough yet. Ugh, gonna have to wait a minute. Alright, that's heated up a bit now, so I can add some glue and then press my cocktail stick into the glue. And then be careful because it might be hot. Mine's still not really that hot. I'm just going to put a little bit more glue around the edge and then over the top of that cocktail stick. And then quickly, whilst it is still wet, get the other part of the cupcake topper and stick it down, and then just give it a nice firm press to get that glue stuck. And then when that is dry, that is my double-sided ghost cupcake topper finished. So I can do the same thing with the other ones. I've got the little devil, and this one probably wasn't the best design to choose. I should have done it with a coloured circle, like the ghost with the purple bit, because there's not a lot of room here for me to put my cocktail stick before it will go into the mouth. I don't want you to be able to see it in there. So let's just put a little bit of glue there and stick that in as high up as I can. It's not going to be the best option. Of course, if I'd have made these bigger, 3 inches, then there would have been more room, but I didn't. Let's put a bit more glue in, including over that cocktail stick, and then get my other half and stick it over. Now, because we mirrored these designs in Design Space, it will match up the pattern. There we go. So when that's dry, that will be that one done. We've just got one left, which is our little cat and ghost picture. And for this one, I'm going to put the cocktail stick as centrally as I can without it going into any of the holes in the pattern. So probably up against that pumpkin will be a good place. I'm just going to make sure that's the right way. So a bit of glue down there. Oh, my glue gun's getting a bit hot now. I'll turn it down. starting to smell. Let's push the stick in there. And then a bit more glue around the edge. And on top of that stick, grab the other half and line it up and push it down. So it can be a little bit hot pushing it together if your glue heat's coming through the card, so just watch your fingers, you don't want to burn them. And I've got some stringy bits from the glue. But then when that is dry, ta-da! Got another stringy glue bit there. I'm sure I can get it off. And there are my cupcake toppers all ready to go in my fancy cupcakes. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut Craft tutorials, including a new Halloween post every day for the whole of October. Thank you for watching.